This Disney DVD is enhanced with Disney's Fast Play. Your movie and a selection of bonus features will begin automatically. To bypass Fast Play, select the main menu button
Disney. This giant mega company has seen a lot in its 98 years of operation, from fatal tragic accidents in its resorts, occult hidden messages in their media, to creepy urban legends. This is the Disney Iceberg Explained. Hello everyone, Book of Alice here. Today we are going over this Disney Channel iceberg that I found underneath my bed. Thanks for getting me to 70,000 subscribers, by the way. It's really cool, and I honestly can't believe it. I just stare at the number and I'm like, damn, okay. Thanks, Jesus. Anyways, if you enjoy long-form content like this, consider subscribing, leaving a comment, liking, and following me on Twitter or Instagram where I post random things. But without further ado, let's get into this creepy / interesting ass iceberg. Use me as background noise for all I care. That's usually what I do. Okay, let's go. The Rescuers Recall. The Rescuers is a 1977 American animated musical comedy produced by Walt Disney Productions and first released on June 22, 1977, the 23rd film in the Disney animated canon. The film is about the Rescue Aid Society, an international mouse organization headquartered in New York City and shadowing the United Nations, dedicated to helping abduction victims around the world at large. Now, here's the interesting part about it. On January 8, 1999, 3 days after the film's second release on home video, the Walt Disney Company announced a recall of about 3.4 million copies of the videotapes because there was an inappropriate image in one of the film's background sills. The image in question is a blurry image of a topless woman that appears in 2 out of the film's more than 110,000 frames. The image appears twice in non-consecutive frames during the scene in which Miss Bianca and Bernard are flying on Orville's back through New York City. The 2 images could not be seen in ordinary viewing because the films run too fast, at 29.97 frames per second on video. A Disney spokeswoman said that the image in The Rescuers were placed in the film during production, but she declined to say why or who placed them. The company said that the aim of the recall was to keep its promises to the families that they can trust and rely on the Disney brand to provide the best in family entertainment. Susie Q. Susie Q is a 1996 movie that originally aired on the channel Super RTL, followed by Disney Channel airing it in the United States frequently in the mid-1990s. Justin Wallen, Amy Jo Johnson, and Shelley Long starred in it. The movie told the story of a teenager dying with her boyfriend, Bentley Mitchum, on her way to their winter formal back in the mid-1950s, and coming back to her old house about 40 years later in order to help her parents avoid being kicked out of their trailer park home. Later, Zach moves into Susie's old house, but he's the only one who's able to see Susie. Disney Channel stopped showing the movie later in the new millennium. It was giving a TVG rating and it was already cut for some profanity, but not all of it, when it primarily aired on the Disney Channel. I guess that's why it's on this iceberg or something. Gigantic. Gigantic was a planned computer animated musical comedy film produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios, revealed during the 2015 D23, and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. Nathan Grano and Meg LaFau were set to direct it, and it was initially scheduled to be the 59th animated feature film in the Disney animated canon, following the release of Frozen 2 in November 2019. On October 10, 2017, Disney announced that the project had been cancelled and would be replaced with Raya and the Last Dragon. Set in Spain during the Age of Exploration, the film follows Jack as he discovers a world of giants hidden within the clouds. Jack befriends the female giant, Enma, who's 11 years old, 60 feet tall, fiery, feisty, and out of control, and treats him like a living doll. Grino said, meanwhile, the antagonist, storm giants, stand at 120 feet. Before we move on to the next layer, this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Is there something stopping you from achieving your goals, or is stopping you from achieving happiness? I know I faced those challenges before. I remember when I first hit writer's block here on YouTube. I was doing it full time in the beginning and feeling like I was stuck in a bad mood. I felt sluggish, unmotivated, and speaking about these challenges with another person truly helped. This is where BetterHelp can help. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating within 48 hours. It's not a crisis line, it's not self-help. It is professional therapy done online securely. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network, which may not be locally available in many areas, making the service unique. as it's available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your therapist. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't even have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room again, like you do with traditional therapy. They also make it easy and free to change therapists if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. I and BetterHelp want you to start living a happier life today. Here's a special offer for Book of Valis listeners. Visit betterhelp.com/bookofvalis for 10% off your first month by clicking the link in the description. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, and join the over 2 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of experienced professionals. And thank you BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. SuicideMouse.avi. Suicide Mouse, also known as SuicideMouse.avi, is a black and white cartoon featuring a looped animation of the Disney character Mickey Mouse, walking along with several buildings accompanied by eerie piano music. The video cuts to black for several minutes and returns with distorted video and loud screaming audio at the end. The video was uploaded by YouTuber Nick1 on November 25th, 2009 that came with a long story about a fabricated backstory about the animation. The description gives out information and other details about the animation. Nick1 started off with a question, stating, "So, do any of you remember those Mickey Mouse cartoons from the 1930s? The animated footage then begins with Mickey walking with the Morse expression, however with no soundtrack, but soon things begin to change. Sound starts to play in the background. It begins with rhythmic tapping, then what the source describes as a murmur starts playing. It wasn't a language, but more like a gurgled cry." Racism accusations. Over the years, many scholars, film critics, and parent groups have been critical of Disney for the stereotypical portrayal of non-white characters. Examples cited include the short Mickey's Melodrama, where Mickey dresses up in blackface, the stereotypical Blackbird in the short Who Killed Cock Robin, the movie Fantasia, where it depicts a black woman being the servant to the white woman, not to mention the exaggerated features and all that, the red-faced Indians in the Peter Pan movie, and also the Semais twins from the Lady and the Tramp movie. I mean, we could go on forever with this list, but I guess I'll stop here. Also, there were lots of rumors stating that Walt Disney himself was anti-Semitic.
Welcome back, Mr. Disney.
Are the Jews gone yet?
No.
Put me back in.
Tinkerbell Disney intro Mandela effect. Do you guys remember the intro for Disney films that depicts Tinkerbell writing out the logo and then tapping her wand at the end? Well, that supposedly has happened before, but not in the way everyone has remembered. Here's an example of what it looked like. The Disney Castle logo would appear while Tinkerbell taps her wand over the letter I, pausing a while and shoots off to the right. Some people believe that they may have confused it with the intro for the opening DVD screen, but others stand their ground in what they remember. What do you guys think? Deadly Force. Deadly Force is the 8th televised episode of Gargoyles, the 8th episode of season 1, and it's arguably the show's most controversial episode. In the airing, Broadway accidentally shoots Elisa with her gun. Racked with guilt, he takes her to the hospital and then goes off to take his frustrations out on criminals he can find. When the others hear, they assume it was the work of a gangster Elisa was investigating and set out to take him down permanently using quote-unquote deadly force. I guess that's the main reason this is so controversial. Not safe for work industrial complex. I think this is just referring to the massive amount of not safe for work arts of Disney characters. I mean, some people have probably made some serious bank off this art. Artists have tons of material to work with as well, from Zootopia's Thick Ass Bunny to Mrs. Incredible. Oh hell yeah, brother. Arwin. Arwin was a project from Danny Callis, produced to be the spin-off of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. The plot was written by Danny and was to primarily center around the character of Arwin. The series was not picked up by the Disney Channel, although Danny Callis' other spin-offs did. The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was picked up. Rather than focus on the Arwin show, The Sweet Life on Dick featured the adventures of Zack, Cody, London, and Mosby on the SS Tipton, as well as the teen studies at the Seven Seas High. Additionally, the new series added the character of Bailey Pickett, who replaced Maddie Fitzpatrick as a series regular. The Black Friday incident. The story reads, the early stages of production on the film Toy Story were a complete nightmare. The production was in a sort of development hell until the infamous Black Friday incident. Disney harassed the then new animation studio Pixar constantly. They were to produce and release the film, and they wanted results as quickly as possible. Disney tried everything to eliminate Pixar's efforts to deviate from the Disney formula, even at times threatening to shut down production. Disney sent notes on revisions that they thought would improve the film, constantly demanding that it needed more edge. In order to achieve this edge, the film became quite a lot darker. Woody became a wildly unlikable character, much angrier and far less comedic than in the final film. Bo Peep's role in the story was far more prevalent, often flirtatious towards the male characters, and is the first to accuse Woody of pushing Buzz out the window. Buzz Lightyear was referred to at this point in the production as Lunar Larry. He was highly reminiscent of an old superhero, talking in a deeper voice, and was even more deluded and ignorant of his surroundings. The other toys were relatively unchanged. The entire reel had a darker undertone. Sexual messages. Over its many years of operation, Disney has been accused of hiding sexual messages in its media, from strange phallic-like symbols to lewd jokes scattered throughout their films. Y'all think this spells out the word sex? Let me know. Also, the Tangled cover? Come on. Why are there so many countless examples of this? Cameron Boyce's death. Cameron Boyce was an American actor. He began his career as a child actor, appearing in the 2008 films Mirrors and Eagle Eye, along with the comedy film Grown Ups 2010 and its 2013 sequel. His first starting role was on the Disney Channel comedy series Jessie, which he is best known for. On July 6, 2019, Boyce was found unresponsive at his Los Angeles home. Authorities were called and he was pronounced dead at the scene. According to a statement made by Boyce's family, Boyce died in his sleep due to a seizure, which was the result of an ongoing medical condition for which he was being treated for. An autopsy was performed, but release of a cause of death was deferred pending further investigation. On July 9, 2019, Boyce's family confirmed that his death was caused by an epileptic seizure, and that Boyce was previously diagnosed with epilepsy. The autopsy results were released by the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner's coroner on July 30th, 2019. Cipher hunt. This entry is referring to a plan Alex Hirsch, the creator of the show Gravity Falls, came up with, detailing a massive worldwide treasure hunt involving clues to find a statue of Bill Cipher. It was a nice way to end the show, incorporating the audience to say their last farewells to one of their favorite animated series. He ended up hiding the statue in a remote part of Oregon on a lady's property. Here's the video of the woman who ended up finding it. Screaming warning, she's gonna scream a lot and it's really loud.
Okay, sorry, that was really loud. But I found it! Oh my god, guys, I found it! Okay, I gotta take lots of pictures.
It's honestly a topic for a whole nother video on its own. Lemmings myth, animal abuse. White Wilderness contains a scene that supposedly depicts a mass lemmings migration, and ends with the lemmings leaping to their deaths into the Arctic Ocean. There have been many reports that the Disney film describes this as an actual suicidal action by the lemmings, but the narrator in the film states that the lemmings are likely not attempting suicide, but rather are migrating and upon encountering water, attempt to cross it. If the water they attempt to cross is too wide, they suffer exhaustion and drown. In 1982, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation news magazine The Fifth Estate broadcasted a documentary about animal cruelty in Hollywood, focusing on the film, as well as the television program Wild Kingdom. Bob McCone, the host of the CBC program, found that the lemming scene was filmed at the Bow River near downtown Calgary and not at the Arctic Ocean, as implied by the film. He also found that the lemmings did not voluntarily jump into the river, but were pushed in by a rotating platform installed by the film crew. He also interviewed a lemmings expert who claimed that the particular species of lemmings shown in the film are not known to migrate, much less commit mass suicide. Broadcast interruptions. On May 1st, 2007, a Comcast headend replaced the Disney Channel's program Handy Manny with hardcore pornography for viewers in Lencorf, New Jersey. Comcast stated it was conducting an investigation into the event's cause, but did not announce findings to the public. On September 7, 2012, the Disney Channel once again was interrupted on the Dish Network, replacing 6 minutes of Lilo and Stitch with a portion of hardcore pornography movie. Weird. That's all I gotta say. World War II propaganda. Between 1942 and 1945, during World War II, Walt Disney was involved in the production of propaganda films for the US government. The widespread familiarity of Walt Disney's productions benefited the US government in producing pro-American war propaganda in an effort to increase support for the war. The Navy first requested 900,000 feet of film to be ready in 3 months. The purpose of these films was to educate sailors on navigation tactics. This was a shock for Disney, as he was used to creating 28,000 feet of film in a year. As requested by the US government, Walt Disney created a number of anti-German and anti-Japanese films for both soldiers and the US public. He wanted to portray these countries and their leaders as manipulative without morals. A few of the films he produced were Der Führer's Face, 1942, Education for Death, The Making of a Nazi in 1943, and Commando Duck in 1944. In the film The Führer's Face, Donald Duck breaks down after experiencing a nightmare where he has to make do with eating ridiculous Nazi food rations, and experiences a day at a Nazi artillery factory. Coyote Tale, Found Lost Media. Disney's Coyote Tale was a TV movie directed by Robert Heath that aired on the Disney Channel in 1991. It was an extended remake of The Coyote's Lament, an episode of the 1961 anthology series Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color. Until this remake, The Coyote's Lament was the last time that the character Ben Tail the Coyote and his son Ben Tail Jr. would make an animated appearance. While the original Coyote's Lament has surfaced, Coyote Tales didn't surface for a long time. It hasn't re-aired on the Disney Channel since 1996, and no footage has surfaced on a public website like YouTube. As of August 2nd, 2017, 1 minute of the English version of Coyote Tales has surfaced via a camera recording by Tayo EXE. The tape was finally ripped and released on August 19th, 2017. However, it was taken down by Disney minutes later. On August 20th, he uploaded the full recording on Google Drive. Walt Disney is frozen. This entry is referring to the popular urban legend that Walt Disney's body was cryogenically frozen. The rumor came from a reporter who had supposedly snuck into the hospital where Walter was being treated at. The reporter claimed to have seen Walt Disney's body suspended in a cryogenic metal cylinder. Some claimed that his body was buried underneath Disneyland, specifically under the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, though this was all myth as he was cremated days after his passing. Though there's some truth to this legend, as Walt Disney did show interest in the concept according to the Cryogenic Society of California, according to the Los Angeles Times. Jeffrey Jones. For Disney, Jones hosted the 1987 DTV Monster Hits musical special as the Magic Mirror, and later co-starred with Tyra Banks, Kathy Najimy, and Kevin Pollak in the video storyline portion of the Walt Disney World attraction Extraterrestrials: Alien Encounter, a staple of Tomorrowland from 1995 to 2003. In 2003, Jones pleaded no contest to a charge of soliciting a minor to pose for nude photographs and had a subsequent arrest for failing to update his sex offender status. Zoog. Zoog Disney is a defunct afternoon block that aired on Disney Channel from 1998 to 2002, aimed mainly at the preteen market. The block was hosted by robot characters called Zoogs and featured original shows like Lizzie McGuire and Even Stevens, and also music videos and content submitted by viewers, such as high scores for their online games. The main goal of the block was to tie the internet to their television broadcasting, as websites began to grow in popularity around this time. Jetix. Jetix was a worldwide children's television programming brand that was owned by the Walt Disney Company. The Jetix brand was used for blocks and channels featuring action and adventure-related programming, with shows like Yin Yang Yo, Power Rangers LSD, Spider-Man the Cartoon Series, Sonic X, and American Dragon Jake Long, and much more of course. Sadly, Disney retired the Jetix brand in 2009, causing it to switch over to Disney XD or Disney Channel in some countries. The last Jetix in the world was in Russia, which switched over to the Disney Channel on August 10th, 2010. Let's move on to The Abyss. The Sword in the Stone Mandela Effect. Disney's The Sword in the Stone is a classic that most people have watched or at least seen the cover art. According to some, the film has changed. The sword in the animated movie was unable to be removed from a large stone, right? It was just stuck there. Well, no, it was actually stuck in an anvil on top of a stone-like structure. Do you guys remember the anvil or a large rough rock? I recall the latter. Let me know in the comments though. Doofenshmirtz's trans theory. This theory might derive from the fact that he's self-conscious about his high-pitched voice. He was forced to wear dresses during his childhood, and his father named his dog Only Son. Also, I think there's an episode where he says he hates people with beards because he tries growing one forever, and he never could. But this ultimately doesn't mean that he's trans. I mean, like, come on. 65 episode rule. The 65th episode rule was a controversial rule that applies to all Disney television shows, particularly during the 1990s and early 2000s, stating that no show can go beyond 65 episodes, which is 2 or 3 seasons. This rule angered many Disney Channel fans, due to the fact that many shows have been created and cancelled, while they still had a large fan base, such as Lizzie McGuire and even Stevens. After initially ending after 65 episodes on February 22nd, 2005, Kim Possible was renewed for a 4th season on November 29, 2005, making the show the last subject to this rule. No other shows on the network have been cancelled due to this rule though. Abandoned by Disney. There are a collection of short stories revolving around a new Disney resort that was going to open in Emerald Island, North Carolina, called Mowgli's Palace. It allegedly drew its inspiration from the Jungle Book, lush and green. It was meant to showcase the fine attention to detail for which all Disney parks and resorts are known for. As Abandoned by Disney would have it, though, the project was fraught from the start, with locals disapproving of everything from the resort's theme to the fact that a major corporation now owned so much of Emerald Island's land. Despite the outcry, however, the resort was built anyway, and it even got as far as opening up for business, until it abruptly closed with no explanation. Wolf, the protagonist of the story, finds a room in which an adult-sized Mickey Mouse costume is found, displaying not its usual colors, but rather the inverted colors. He then picks up Donald Duck's head, and out tumbles a real human skull. The life-size costume soon comes to life and stands up, walking towards Wolf in a menacing manner. Go ahead and check out the story yourself, it's pretty good. O.J. Simpson appearance. White Rabbits Can't Jump is the unaired 99th episode of The Adventures in Wonderland, being pulled from release after the O.J. Simpson arrest in 1994. Though the episode was never aired, it was adapted into a picture book. It is also the only episode that is not available on Disney+. The synopsis reads, "The White Rabbit gets some help from his hero O.J. Simpson prior to his 1994 criminal trial, when the residents of Wonderland hold an annual athletic competition and he's afraid he will lose." Newt is a cancelled Pixar film. It would have been the studio's 14th feature film, a place that was ultimately taken by Brave. Gary Rydstrom was going to make his full-length feature film directional debut. The film was originally scheduled to be released during the summer of 2011, but was pushed back to 2012, and from there was replaced with Brave and Pixar's film schedule. At the April 2010 announcement, Disney/Pixar didn't provide any update or release date for Newt. Additionally, the film was removed from the official Disney A to Z encyclopedia supplement by Chief Archivist Dave Smith. An unassigned message received from Smith's email address stated, "The film has been cancelled." This message, along with comments from other industry insiders, led to the speculation that the film had indeed been cancelled. Disney/Pixar animation head John Lasseter declined to comment, but a separate source from within the studio stated, "We have taken Newt off our development schedule to allow our creative teams to focus on these up-and-coming projects. One film with a plot similar to Newt has been released, titled Rio, which is made by 20th Century Fox and animation studio Blue Sky. The similar plot in the film could be the reason why Newt was cancelled." John Lasseter admitted that there was a plot resemblance of Newt and Rio, but did not give any confirmation if it was the reason for its cancellation. The Disneyland Ghost. In 2020, videos surfaced depicting ghost-like figures boarding Disneyland rides and attractions. These videos were labeled as the Disneyland Ghost Sightings. Take a look. Though this was all put to rest as it was revealed to be a commercial stunt done on purpose by a Disney marketing employee, spilling the truth out on Twitter. Victor Salva's Powder. Powder's film production by Disney resulted in a controversy over the choice of writer/director Victor Salva, who had been convicted of molesting a 12-year-old child actor during the production of his previous film, Clown House, released in 1988. Commercial videotapes and magazines containing child pornography were also found in his home. He was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment and released after 15 months. Disney officials reported that they learned of Salva's crime only after the production of Powder had begun, and stressed that there were no minors on set of the film. When Powder was released, the victim, Nathan Forrest Winters, came forward again in an attempt to get others to boycott the film and protest at Disney's hiring of Salva. Disneyland death. On September 5th, 2003, 22-year-old Marcelo Torres of nearby Gardena, California died after suffering injuries in a derailment of the ride Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, supposedly breaking his ribs and bleeding out to death in front of the other less injured riders for 20 minutes before help arrived. The cause of the accident was determined to be improper maintenance and training of Disney cast members. Investigation reports and discovery by Torres' attorney confirmed his fatal injuries occurred when the first passenger car collided with the underside of the locomotive. The derailment was in part the result of a mechanical failure. The tragic death of Deborah. Deborah Gailstone was an American theme park operator notorious for the way she died. She had worked at Disneyland in order to save up money for college. She worked at the now defunct America Sings attraction, known for having moving walls and animatronics. She was crushed to death. It is believed that she couldn't see the walls move as it was too dark for her to tell, and despite her screams, nobody noticed anything horrific because the audience couldn't see her and believed her screams were part of the attraction's audio. A guest in the adjacent theater notified the operators, but by the time the guests and operators got to her, it was too late. Prior to America Sings, she had graduated high school in 1974 in Orange County. That was the Disney Channel Iceberg, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and hopefully I'll have something for you guys next week. Thanks you. I don't even know what I said. I'm tired now. I'll catch you later. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed, and drop a like and all that.
Boom! Axe to the neck. Boom! Axe to the jugular. Boom!